Hi everybody, it's Matt from Britical Saiyans here today, and I'm going to show you my updated cooler deck. So this is the mill one, as you can see. So, auto, when he attacks, you draw a card, but he does have to attack a leader for that side, and then his unawakened, that's his unawakened, has to attack a leader, draw a card, but his awakened side is just when he swings, draw a card. And then he's got another auto, when a power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent mills the top card of their deck, and then auto once per turn if it's your opponent's turn, and the same thing happens as the first auto, you draw a card. His awakening is 1/1. And then on this side, does pretty much exactly the same thing as that side, apart from swings, draws a card. Again, second auto is exactly the same. And then his once per turn auto, which is down at the bottom here. On this side, it's just during both players' turns. So, pretty simple. And to the main deck then, there's a lot. Pass that way. Right, so for the negates the deck, we've got 2, is that all you've got? So, negate the attack, pitch a red card, choose 2 your opponent's battle cards and get minus 15k power. Trigger skill. And potentially killing things. And then Aftermath Technique is the other one. This is your sparking one where you can take a life, you got 5 in a drop. It minuses something by 10k for a turn and gives your leader or a battle card 40k power. Yeah, you choose up to one of your cards. But that's only for the battle. And that's it for the negates for the deck. The rest of the extra cards, we've got 3 Sins of Being, because red's blue. And we've got 1 Freezer's Death Ball. So this is activate battle if your leader card is red, which obviously cooler is. Choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards against plus 15k power for the for duration of the battle. Yeah, and then auto if all your energy is red, which it's red blue, so it counts. When you activate this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards against minus 10k power for the duration of that battle. Unless there's been a ruling change on that, but I don't know. And then we've got 1 Ultimate Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet. So this is a counterplay. Your opponent is playing a Unison card. They may either remove 2 markers from him for every 2 cards in a drop, which is very helpful for cooler because you're putting cards in a drop. And if they don't, your opponent can only attack 1 more time for the turn. So they either keep their Unison or attack 1 more time. And then he's got activate main / battle limit 1. Your opponent chooses 1 of their battle cards and energy cost less than the number of cards in their drop area and sends it to owner's warp. So because you're milling, you almost guaranteed killing almost anything, really. And then we got Exchange of Power. So, yeah, it's a 2 cost, but activate main / battle, you choose 1 of these effects. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and it gets minus 15k back for a turn, and then you draw a card. Or you do the same thing, but you target Unison, but you don't draw a card. So it's either battle card, draw, or Unison. So, obviously, if you target a Unison, you won't trigger the leader effect, but you potentially remove a marker from the Unison, which is always nice. And then we got 2 copies of the Ultimate Dragon Tackle. Now, this is activate main / battle, same as the bullet. Limit 1 though for this one. Okay, so if your opponent has a Unison card in play, your opponent places a top card of a deck in a drop area, so helping the mill aspect. Your opponent may choose 1 of their Unison cards and remove 2 markers from it. If they don't, you get to draw a card, then choose to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and send it to your owner's warp. So, for these 2 cards would be nice additions to cooler. That's why they're in there. And then we've got 2 Cease to Exist. So this is got an activate battle and an activate main. So activate battle is just a 5k combo. It's activate main by paying 3. If your leader card is red, choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignore a barrier, and you get minus 25k power for the duration of the turn. So it helps do the milling of the cooler and obviously getting rid of battle cards. Okay, on to the 1 costs. And these are the battle cards now. So we've got 1 Vegeta, Saviour of the Future. This just swings, take a life, gain 10k double strike. Kalba, red version. We're a red-blue deck, want to help our rivals. And then the other 1 cost is the Frieza Death's Embrace. So when you play this, you draw a card, and it's got activate battle by paying a red. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and you get minus 10k power. So during a battle, you can reduce the offense capability of your opponent if you do it during their turn. Or if you want to help kill something when you're swinging at it. All those little things. And then, it wouldn't be a red-blue deck that isn't Universe 7. Whatever, I can't remember what it's called. It's the Goku, but it's got the Vegeta strike in it, but it has a certain name to it, I can't remember.
Invoker.
That one, thank you, Invoker. But for this deck it's this. And then for the super combos, we've got 3 Beerus. So during your opponent's turn, when you super combo with it, you want to tap 1 of your multicolored energy. One of those, for example. And then we got a 1-off Sparking Roshi. So you got 5 in a drop, you get to draw a card. And then for our 1-offs, we've got Vegeta Royal Evolution. Now, I noticed this by accident when I was going through my folder, because this is an SR. So I'll just go through it for you. So auto, pay a red. If your opponent has 3 or more energy, and it's your turn, at the end of battle in which you combo with this card from your hand, has to be from the hand, you switch up to one of your mono red leader cards to active mode, and it gains 5k power, and its keyword skills are negated for the turn. You can't activate non-keyword leader card skills or skills on copy of this card for the turn. So you can do that as an option, but it's mainly here for it to activate battle of paying a red. If your leader card is mono red and you discard this card from your hand, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10k power for the battle. So it's just there for another minus, really. The other effect, yes, very nice. If you want to swing with your leader again, if they're on 1 life, or you're swinging for double strike, because if you run Champer, just those kind of things. And then we've got a 1-off Cooler Clan Avenger. So I only have the 1 because I was only able to get 1 from that championships that I went to. Feel that I don't really want to get more, unless I really want to tweak the deck a lot more. But I feel like it's alright. It's got Barrier, Energy Exhaust, 2 autos. The first one, if your leader card is Frieza Clan cards, when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 15k power for a turn. So, triggering Cooler's effect, getting rid of battle cards, what the deck wants to be doing. And then its other auto, if your leader card is Frieza Clan card, at the end of your opponent's turn, they mill 1 card. So, because this has got barriers, it's a bit difficult to get around. So if you don't swing with this, it's just going to sit there and going mill at the end of your opponent's turn each time, which is very nice. And then for the 3 costs, these are all 1-offs that I've chosen to go with. So we got the Max Speed Kaioken Goku. It's a counterplay. Permanent, if you've got a multi-card energy, it's reduced by 1. And then auto, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 10k power for the duration of the turn. Then if it's your opponent's turn, you choose another card to get minus 5k. So you can choose one thing twice, get minus 15, or 2 separate things, however you want to play it. And then we've got Kettle Warrior Universe 11. Now this was a suggestion by Jonah, so thought, let's give it a go. Because it's blocker, counterplay, if a battle card being played has 20k power or less, and it's placed in its dropping instead. So it's a denial, but you also get to play this battle card. Because permanent bond 3, reduce the energy cost in its card your hand by 1. Getting bond 3 is pretty simple in this deck, because you just keep a rival and your coolers in, and most of your battle cards come in and stay in, and it helps it. And then when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, it gets minus 10k for the turn. So yeah, it's just like, oh, I deny you and then I minus something else. Why not? Yes, it has to be bond 3, but it can be done. And then this is actually the most recent addition to this deck, the Freezer Colossal Dynamo. This one was by accident again. I just completely forgot this card existed, so I just found it by accident. I was like, oh. It's got Energy Exhaust Blocker. It's another arrival for the deck, red-blue, but you have to pay a red and a blue for this arrival, as opposed to the cooler where you just pay a red. But then, also, when this guy is played, your opponent places 2 cards on top of the deck in a drop area. Then you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 5k for a turn. So they're milling 2, and then milling another 1 because of cooler. And then you're drawing a card. So, it's very nice. And then onto the forecasts. There's more than I thought there was. We got 3 copies of King Cold. This was the main reason why I rebuilt this deck when I saw this card. And then everything else just kind of happened. Which is true. Yeah. So, King Cold. Cost 4, Energy Exhaust is a blocker, which is very nice. Also, when this card is played from your hand, you look at up to 5 cards on top of your deck, play up to 1 red, blue, multicolored Freezer Clan card, energy cost 5 or less from among them, and shuffle your deck. So yes, you can play another copy of him, but you won't get the auto again. But the idea is just to help you get into your 5 cost freezer. That's I'll just show you quickly. Go into this one basically. That's your main target. Okay, and then we've got 2 copies of Son Gohan the Avenger. So it's a counter attack, it negates the attack. Permanent, it gets reduced by 2 in your hand for the cost, so you just pay the 2 specified red. And then also, when this guy's played during your opponent's turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and it gets minus 10k for the turn. And then we've got Freezer. So this is counter attack, and you get your attack permanent during your opponent's turn, reduced it by 2. So it's a 2 cost again, same as the Gohan. But then it's activate main, pay 2 red and a blue, choose 1 of your red or blue Freezer cards in your hand with energy cost of 5 and play on top of this card. So it was the original way of basically getting into this guy. But it's in the gate as well. And the deck needs a stall, so it helps it. And then Topo, because Topo's awesome. Counter attack, you negate attack and play this card, but you can choose to pitch a red card to make it so your opponent, every time they attack, they have to be discarding 2 cards on their hand. During your opponent's turn, it's reduced by 2 for the cost, so you just pay 2 to bring this guy out. And was there anything else? Nope, that's it. So that's Topo for you. Everybody loves Topo, don't they? And then for the last bit of the deck, the 5 costs. So 4 copies of Cooler, the Titanical Assault. So this is the what's the wording? Bread and butter of the deck, as it were. I suppose go with that, because obviously the freeze is also very powerful. But he has double strike, arrival red blue by paying a red, energy exhaust, auto. When this card is played, your opponent mills the top 1, and then you choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignore a barrier, and they get minus 10k power. So trigger the auto twice on the leader, and you get a double striker for 1 energy. Can't complain. And then we'll finally actually get into the explanation of Freezer. So he's got triple strike, energy exhaust, auto. When he attacks, you choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and they get minus as a 30k power. So swing, minus 30k power to your opponent's board. And then when the power of 1 of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent mills 2. So off his swing, for each one that he decreases, they mill 2. So if they got quite a few out, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, for however many. And then we've got 2 copies of Super Saiyan Vegeta Exploiting Weakness. This is the reprinted one, as you can tell, because that's the original draft box one. So he's a counterplay. Permanent, if your leader card is red, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2, so it's a 3 cost. But when he's played, you choose all your opponent's battle cards and you get minus 20k power for the turn. And then if it's your opponent's turn when his card is played, you choose your leader cards and it gains 5k. So you get a built-in senzu bean and you get to minus your opponent's stuff. And potentially wipe a lot of it off the board. And then the last card of the deck, there is only a one-off because I'm not paying for any extra and we only pulled the one, the Oceana. Which was one thing that people were like, this is going straight in cooler, it's going in cooler. It's a blocker, counter attack. You choose one card in your hand and discard it. Negate attack, play this card. If you played a card, your opponent can't attack for a turn unless they place the top 4 cards of the deck in a drop area. During your opponent's turn, reduce the energy cost in your cards in your hand by 3, so it becomes a 2 cost instead of a 5 cost. And then it's only relevant if you're a Shadow Dragon leader, which Cooler's not, obviously. So it's literally just there going, okay, do you want to keep swinging? Please keep swinging, please. Mill 4, which your opponent will only do if they're trying to push the game, which can also be very dangerous because if it's late enough in the game, they could end up decking themselves out. But there you go, guys. That is my updated Cooler deck. Leave any thoughts you have in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.